you will get a glimpse behind the closed doors of power and into the dysfunctional relationships that can make or break this nation. Bob Woodward is best known for uncovering Watergate, but his new book takes us into the Obama White House, where last summer's clash with Republican leadership brought America to the brink of financial Armageddon. Tonight, you'll hear tapes of the president and Speaker of the House tell their sides of the story, and what happened in the heat of those crucial moments could provide large-bore election year ammunition. ABC's Diane Sawyer has the exclusive first look.
It is the kind of moment that tests a president, the nation on the edge of a financial cliff.
You really say in the book, nobody was in charge. Isn't it the president? And is that a failure of leadership?
You know, some people are going to say he was fighting a brick wall. Others will say it's the president's job to figure out how to tear down that brick wall.
For 44 days last summer, Barack Obama was hostage to events outside his control. The Republican Congress, newly dominated by the Tea Party, threatened for the first time in history to have America default on its debts. Journalist Bob Woodward takes an inside look at what's called the debt ceiling crisis. His book is The Price of Politics.
You talk about it as the financial equivalent of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It's so serious that they couldn't tell the world how bad it was at the time.
The president and Speaker of the House, John Boehner, the chain-smoking son of an Ohio barkeep who is skilled in the art of backroom negotiations. Still, Boehner has to deal with his new Tea Party caucus, some of whom seem to want to see the U.S. default.
At one point in the meeting, I look at myself, I look at the president, and I just start chuckling to myself.
Here, you're listening to House Speaker John Boehner as he talks to Woodward about one of his early meetings with the president.
Because all you need to know about the differences between the president and myself is that I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette, drinking Merlot, and I look across the table, and here's the president of the United States drinking iced tea and chomping on Nicorette.
Did you offer him a cigarette?
Oh, I did not. I did not. Nor did he ask for one.
President Obama spoke to Woodward in the Oval Office.
By that time, I'd quit smoking, but I was making sure he had an ashtray. He'd be having a sip of wine, and we could have a good conversation. And I personally think he genuinely wanted to get something done. So I'm feeling fairly optimistic.
Woodward calls it the Merlot and Nicorette's meetings, and initially, the two sides inched toward each other and a place they'd never gone before, entitlement cuts plus tax increases. But then a single phone call will sink it all. The president says he simply called with the possibility of getting even more taxes. Even now, the two men disagree on what they heard each other say.
I want to be very emphatic here. At no point did I say, John, take it or leave it. What I said to him was, you have to tell me how many votes do you plan to put on this thing?
His position is he was not saying I have to have it. He was saying I want you to consider it.
No. Hold on.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
No. I need $400 billion more than I need. And I pushed back a couple times. And he said, no, I need $400 billion more. You need to think about this.
Boehner is livid and worried about the fractious rebels in the Tea Party. He refuses to return the president's 3 phone calls over 19 hours. This time, Boehner says the president erupts.
He was spewing coals. Oh, he wasn't. Oh, he was best. He was best. When he called one of $400 billion, he knew he wasn't going to get a damn dime more out of it.
The stakes could not be higher. The U.S. now 11 days from default in front of the world.
Somebody said, well, can we sell national parks? Can we sell? And the Treasury Secretary says, it won't work. We won't get enough money.
For his part, the president was now certain that some hardcore members of the Tea Party had decided to let the whole thing blow up rather than give him a deal.
There were very prominent Republicans in the caucus who told me to my face that the view in the caucus was that getting a deal with me would ensure my reelection.
But a lot of insiders tell Woodward the president strengthened his opposition by being so aloof.
Do you really think, still in this intensely polarized world, that schmoozing and charming and calling and spending the night with your feet up changes the course of history?
Yes, ma'am. Human relations matter.
And indeed, as the deadline inches closer, it will be two old veterans of Washington who salvage the situation: Vice President Biden and Minority Leader Republican Mitch McConnell. And with just hours to go, a deal is finally struck, but one that basically puts the country through it all again in January.
But is that the president's fault?
My conclusion is Presidents Clinton, President Reagan, and if you look at them, can criticize them for lots of things, they by and large worked their will.
And he did not?
On this, President Obama did not.
But here in an election year, there are going to be people who say that you're delivering some ammunition to his opposition.
I am not delivering ammunition. I am trying to describe what happened. I also make the point that Speaker Boehner was responsible.
Governor Romney has said the president was in over his head. Is your book making a case that that was true?
No. He had a partner, dancing partner. He has the Republicans in on this. I close the book with the thought that the result of all of this was the status quo, only worse.